Yes, hi guys, and welcome to episode 2 in my build along of the Stuk 3 from Dragon, kit number 6860. And after we finished the running gear last week, we are going to tackle the suspension system this week, which includes both the torsion bar suspension as well as the swing arms and bump stops and all of those kind of things. One return roller mount we will need to place there, and some surface detail needs to be removed, some surface detail needs to be added, for example the brackets that hold the fenders in place. So let's begin. And as you see here, first off we need to remove some things from the surface, and every now and then you are going to see me either change the camera setup or just try to get stuff back in shot, because for some reason I only had like a couple of very short sessions where I sat down at the bench, and every time I got back at the bench the camera setup had slightly changed, and that really annoyed me. So here I'm drilling out a hole in the floor of the Stuk where we will have an access port later on. Just drill it out with a drill bit and then just widen it with your hobby knife. What I'm sending here now is one of these support struts that hold the fender in place. As you can see me fumbling with it to put it in place. I normally like to do these once the fenders are on the vehicle so I can align them properly, but I tried it the proper way around this time, the way the instructions tells me to do it. So let's see if once I put the fenders on they're actually aligned. And there was the unavoidable hair and hat shot. I want to say I'm sorry for that, but I have to force you guys to see my head, and this is a very boring task here, cutting those things out and gluing them down. It's 5 aside, 4 in the front and 1 in the back. The one in the back we will do last in this video. Using Tamiya Extra Thin for this, it's just perfect. You put the part there, once you put the glue in, it basically sucks the part into the crevice that you want it to sit in. So like I said, very short session there, just putting down 5 of those support struts, and I think I did the others off camera because magically they appear on the chassis. And now we are doing the torsion bars, 6 aside, and they of course have 5 screw gates that you need to clean up before you can put the torsion bars in there. You can actually build them movable. I decided against it this time around and just glued them in place. Normally if you just put glue at the back of them inside the inside the hull tub, you can still keep them movable outside, and then if you remove a small piece of plastic you can actually have the entire torsion bar with the swing arm movable, and then you can basically adjust the running gear to the surface that you would put this on. But since this is not going to be on a diorama but just a standalone piece, I decided against this. While I'm sending torsion bars, this would be a good time for me to once again thank you guys for supporting my channel as well as you do. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel, and if you like this sort of video or this kind of video, please leave a like. Participate in the community polls where I actually listen to you guys and your opinion. And yes, thank you once again for supporting the channel. So here we are sending the last torsion bar for this side. As I said, 6 aside, and this can also tire you out. And I think after those 6, I once again took a break. No, actually, as you can see there, I'm now looking for the access port that goes underneath the hull tub, and I didn't find it. So now I'm cutting out the the end caps for the torsion bars that actually keep the torsion bars in place inside the vehicle. Once again, 6 aside, just put them in there, glue down the torsion bars. Like I said, I glued them in place so they are not movable this time around. Now we glue the others in there just to tie them down. And the extra thin was just glorious for this. Just add some there and it's just held in place, and it's just never gonna move on you ever again. And the same, of course, then goes for the other side. Again, 6 torsion bars and 6 end caps that hold them in place. Oh yes, no, it's a bump stop. Yes, I can tell. Those are the bump stops that go outside and that basically prevent the first and the last torsion bar or swing arm from moving up too far and basically ruining the entire suspension. They just limit the amount of way the first and last torsion bars have. And again, we're looking for a sprue, and we found the sprue. And yes, this is the sprue that now actually keeps or holds the access port that goes on the bottom of the tank that we drilled out the hole earlier. And as you can see here, the hole that I drilled out. No, actually, I'm wrong. This is the missing return roller housing, and now we are looking, for the access hatch here, or the access port, and you will see that the hole that I drilled out earlier is just too small, and I'm fumbling around here. Okay, let's widen it with your hobby knife. Still not fitting. Now let's make it even bigger. And how are you getting it in there? Yes, now once you add the glue, it basically is sucked in. Again, new session. This time we add the other 6 torsion bars. And I know how boring it can be to watch something happen again and again and again, which is why at the end of the video I will just stop at doing one side of the swing arms and just doing the other half off camera, because it's just the same thing, just mirrored to the other side. There's nothing new, nothing that changes. And while I said in the first video that I want to show you every last bit except for the sanding of the wheels, I just decided it would just bore the living S out of you. So I decided just, okay, show you one side, tell you it's the exact same thing on the other side, and then come back and show you something that's actually interesting. I still have no clue why Dragon would have 5 attachment points on those torsion bars. You don't have to be very, say, meticulous in cleaning them. It's just that you can push them in. There shouldn't be too much of the attachment point still there. Otherwise, you have a hard time pushing it in. Yeah, that's what she said. And again, as on the other side, just glue them down. I messed up one here, which was out of line, and then I had to realign it, because if this is messed up and you have them in there wrong, your entire suspension is going to be just shot. So you have to make sure that you align them properly. And again, end caps. On this side, you have to be careful because the last one is actually a different one, because this would interfere with the lower half of the front armor plate of the Stug because of the angle that it is in, and because the torsion bar actually sits right in the corner there. You have to put a special part in there, otherwise it just won't fit. And you see me here put down the other 5 before I didn't put the special one in place. Just a heads up, if you ever want to build this Stug, you gotta be careful not to just like put the first one in there and realize, uh-oh, that was not supposed to go there. And as you can see, yes, they are of course mirrored. And here we go, this is the special one. Okay, so torsion bars are now actually in place. So next up, we can now look at the bump stops for this side. Actually, no, before we put the bump stops in, again, the return roller needs a housing, so let's put this in place first. Then we can tackle the bump stops. I still don't understand entirely why they would leave it off, but then again, with early Stugs, the distance between the first and the second return roller would vary, so maybe that's why. Yeah, here come the bump stops. It's almost hard looking at the camera here, trying to identify what exactly I'm doing, because some of the parts are just so small, and I'm getting old, so my eyesight is getting bad. So excuse me. So here we are looking for the front armor plate, which is actually on a special sprue. There you can see the front armor plate and some of the sprocket housing, which on this kit is actually something new that I hadn't seen before. So that was a new part for me. And I've seen a lot of Dragon Panzer 3s and Stug 3s, so yeah. Try to align them properly, because if you mess this up and you don't have them on flush, especially the front armor plate, your sprocket housing will be crooked. And once that's crooked, of course the sprocket will be crooked, and then that will mess with your tracks, so be careful there. It's easier to be careful here than to be trying to fumble with it later on. Three pieces here. Be careful not to sand too much off of them, because if you basically sand too much, you will just turn your piece into a crooked piece, and it won't align either. So always be careful not to sand too much, not to sand too little. And that's that for that session, and we're coming back to this, and now we are actually looking at the swing arms. So which ones do we need? Yes, those are the ones that we need. Four for each side, with the, like, those are the 2nd to 5th swing arms on each side, before we then come back and attach the 1st and 6th, which are actually different from those. Once again, be careful when you build a Panzer 3, or especially a Panzer 3, because, or a Stug 3, Panzer 3 chassis vehicle, because 2nd to 5th are the same, 1st and 6th are the same, but they are not the same as the 2nd to the 5th. So don't just glue one on and be like, oops, that was wrong. Messes up your build. so be careful there. Just take some extra time and check it. That way, just won't be an issue. I'm very thankful, by the way, for all the positive feedback that I've got after episode 1 of this build series, which basically gave me even more motivation to just finish this and just keep on putting out content and just keep on putting out videos each and every day. It was very, very nice. And as we're talking about your support, once again, thank you guys so much. And I really appreciate you guys. And if you're not subscribed yet, and if you like this video and you want to support the channel, why don't you subscribe and leave a like? And now we have actually reached the 1st and 6th of these swing arms. Glue them in place, and now they have some support here, and don't mix them up, although they're almost similar, so there's not that much of a difference between the two. Again, too many attachment points to the sprue. Look, I get that they have to have some, but why does a small part like this have like 6 attachment points? It's just like beyond me. But then again, I'm not an engineer and I don't know how to like set up those molds, so maybe it's the only way they can do this. But we're almost at the end here now. It's only the support, what have you. I think it's some sort of hydraulic system. And here we can see me putting on wheels for some reason. And then all that's left in step 3 to finish off the first 3 steps is just putting in some pieces that are basically fender support that we will need at a later point once the fenders go on. And like I said earlier, normally I just put this on after the fenders are on because then I can align it properly. But I'm not sure if I need to put this on now in this build because this is something engineering wise that I haven't seen before, so I'm just putting it on, hoping for it to be straight. Just 2 more small parts, again with I think this small part, and it's not a centimeter in length, has like 5 attachment points. Excuse me. And there's 1 each side, so a bit of cleanup here. And I have to say, I'm actually going through this build very, very slowly, very deliberately. Normally, and this is roughly 2.5 building hours so far on this. Normally I would be a lot further along, but setting up the camera and filming this takes a bit of time and just like taking shorter sessions because of just time constraints. Basically, leads to me just taking more time. And here we are now, as I clean the bench, at the end of the time lapse. And as you can see, we have now completed the first 3 steps of this build. And like I said earlier, I'm not going to do this side on camera. I'm going to do this off camera. And for some weird reason, I'm still doing all of those hand gestures. They are perfectly aligned. I actually tested it out with a straight edge, the Fender supports here. Like I said, normally I wouldn't put them in just yet. And I'm happy with where we are at this point. So this page of the instruction sheet basically is now done. We've done all of it, except for those 4 little rivets that are supposed to go on the side of the hull here, but I'm not sure exactly if I want to use the ones from the kit or if I want to use some some that I make myself. But I'll tell you in the next episode what my decision was. So let's move this instruction sheet, and this is what we're going to do next. We are going to build the back plate with the exhaust system, some photo edge for the smoke mine launchers, and the fender, I guess. So yes, quite a lot for episode 3, which should be out next week. But until then, once again, thank you guys for the support. This is where we're at. Suspension, running gear, now done. Thank you for watching. I hope you liked the video. I'll see you guys soon. This is Hot Modeling. Bye for now. May the force be with you.